Hi everyone, I wanted to make a video for you of the Travelog and how I do it. So this is the page that I did the other day, and I'm going to now start a new page from scratch. So as you can see, this is an old Dilutions diary that I turned into a travelogue. It was actually my daughter's and she only used part of it. So I wanted to, of course, upcycle it because I hate wasting anything. So I've gone and taken some of my Art by Marlene collage papers, which I have several of, and I always keep all the scraps and keep all the little bits. I hate to waste it, and you can always find a purpose for it. So the first thing I've done is I had the ones that you can color. So what I'm going to do as my base of my page is put these two in. Now they need a little bit of trimming up, which I will do and glue down, and then I'll come back to you. So now that I have the tags cut the way I'd like, I would like to decorate them with some of the collage paper. So for the time being, I'm going to put this aside, and I am going to pick some of the papers. Now, I had a bunch of scrap papers, so what I've done is I took them, and the first tag is black. So I've decided that this one will go nicely with it. Now I'm only going to put collage paper on this side. I am not going to put collage paper on the back side because of the wear and tear. Also, I think I want to do stamping on it. So then this is one of my all-time favorite papers. So I've decided that I'm going to use this one because I really want that heart to be the focal. So that will be for that one. And then I wanted, of course, to tie in some yellow. So I've decided that this yellow one is going to go quite nicely on that yellow tag. And then I still love this paper and wanted to use more of it. So, of course, the blue in here really pops with the blue on the tag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to trim this up so that I do leave a border and glue it down. And when I come back, you'll see exactly what it looks like. So as I was working on it, I realized that I wanted to have both a front and a back cover, just so that it also had like a little format, like a little booklet. So this is what I did. I went and I trimmed it up and I glued down all of my collage paper that I picked out, and of course trimming it up a little bit so it had a nice border around it, and that of course is the final page. Now what I'm about to do is I decided that on the front it would be kind of fun to have one of Art by Marlene's stamps. So I absolutely adore this one. And as I have a feeling that most of these photos are going to be views of the ocean, the beach, the pool, that I thought it made sense to have on the front of this a stamp that reflected all of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, I will stamp it, and I will color it. I will almost completely color the whole thing, and then I'll show you how I color with the Tombow markers on, of course, Marlene's beautiful watercolor paper. So, should be back very shortly. Okay, everyone, so I have started to color the stamp. I'm almost finished coloring her. However, when I'm doing a stamp like this, I do like to pop up some of the elements. So in this particular case, the first thing I'm going to pop up is the star. Now you'll notice I took the Tombow marker, I scraped it onto this surface, and then I'm using a koi watercolor brush to apply it to the paper. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color here. One thing about Marlene is she puts her stamps colored on the back. So if you have no idea what you're going to do, this is a fantastic way of getting used to doing that. So I've done the stars now. May need to be a little bit darker. So what I'll do is I'll just dry that brush up a bit and get to a little darker in the red, and just try and add a little bit more to there, and it just gives it some dimension. Now I'll put this to the side, and then I have these little fish that are here that I would like to give some color to, and I think I'm actually going to give them some red. So I've given a red tail, and as you can see, I'm being very neat and tidy about it. Not. And the reason being that you don't really have to be neat and tidy about it. So there. We have a bit of the fins done, and I have, I think, maybe some orange. Orange would be fun. So I'm going to put some orange down on my paper and pick it up yet again. And I think the orange I'm going to go right on to, right onto the body with. Now I want it to be a little bit more defined, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the Tombow and I'll go direct to paper. So because I want that to be more intense, I've taken the Tombow and I'm going direct to paper. I was just somewhat careful when I get near where I've already watercolored and it's wet, because of course wet equals color bleed, and sometimes in a spot where you really don't want it to be. So that will give you an idea of how I go about in color. I've also got two starfish that I'm going to pop up. Now this one wasn't the best coloring job or best stamping job in the world. However, it'll be perfectly fine, as it's going to be the underneath one. Now I want this to sort of be a pinkish tone, because that's what they looked like when I was in Mexico previously, and that's actually how I spotted one down below when I was snorkeling, was that it was such an intense color that I was like, oh, what's that? So I immediately went under and saw this incredible starfish and got a photo of it. So right now I'm just making that a little less pink by putting over some brown. Now, it's not going to really make it a crazy difference, but it's just enough that it's not as brilliant, because they aren't quite as brilliant as they're coming out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fussy cut. I'll have a little bit of play with a black pen and a white pen, highlight a bit of her outfit, and then I'll be back. So as you can see, I have finished. I glued her down, and I only popped some of the stars because I wanted to have a bit more dimension. And I've added my starfish, and I've added 2 fish, and in fact I'm going to add 3 fish, but I wanted to show you a little trick. When I trim what I'm doing afterwards, I don't like to see the white here. So what I do is I take a color from what I've been working in, and I edge all around so that no white is visible, because I'm a bit of an OCD, I guess, in that respect, and it drives me nuts if I can see white. So now that's all done. Oh, see this little dot here? Just do that, and it's gone. And now I'm going to glue this one on, and I just used 97-cent Walmart glue for about 90% of what I do. Otherwise, pardon me, I tend to use a more heavy-duty glue. And now you'll see, those are the 3 fishes that I wanted to add as well. If you get a little bit of extra glue, I just take a little bit of paper towel and I just tidy up around it, just because I don't want the glue to cause things to bleed. Pardon me. Now the other thing I wanted to show you is that I stamped with StazOn Jet Black, and I did the stars pop dotted with these micro little pop dots, just to make sure that you couldn't see them underneath the stars. So now I've taken a look at it, I've seen what it's doing. I know that it's all going to go together with this one. And I've decided that I don't like how the edges are just looking a little bit too clean and proper. So I'm going to select a stencil, and I'm going to stencil around the edge just to tie the paper in more with the index card. So I'm going to choose a stencil, I'm going to choose a color of paint, and I'll be back when I'm 3/4 of the way through to show you what it looks like and also how I did the stenciling. Alright, so you'll see that I did do some of the stenciling already. The first thing I did was I went all the way around and I used these two colors combined, which are bright aqua green and deep green permanent. And the reason I did that is because I didn't have a green that I liked, and so I made a green. Now, of course, if you look right here, you'll see it looked kind of flat. So the next thing I'm doing is I then took some of my brilliant yellow green and I'm putting a little bit on the sponge, not a lot. Don't want to get it all like smushy. And then I'm going to lay that on, paying attention that I am not landing right on where I've already been. That way giving it more of a dimensional look. And then I'm just going to lightly tap it, and I can see that I am getting some of my color through, but I'm not going crazy with it. And I will lay that down, and then yes, I have gone all the way around. So that basically will be it for this one. Other than I think I might put a tag up here saying something like water fun. But if I do that, I'll show that to you. So I hope you've enjoyed the first little video of me working on my travelogue. And as I go along, I will make more journals. So take care. Bye-bye.